Hi guys, I wanted to show you one more thing that I just got recently, the other day, from close to my heart. So I actually can't find it in the catalog here, but they sent me this Love Letters kit. And this is a kit that they say is only available for the month of January. So I kind of thought I better rush to get this video out. So what I would like to do is do like a demonstration of putting this kit together, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that in the next day or two. So what I decided to do is just show you this kit. I'll post it, and then I'll try to get to this as soon as possible. But if I don't, then you'll at least get to see it before it's gone, because I think that some of you might be really interested in this, especially people who might be doing baby albums or wedding albums or even travel albums. Like I could see like M and putting Montreal here or something instead of, you know, a person's name. On the front of it, it says A and D, like Anna and Davis. And I can see these being really good like title pages for a project, or divider pages. Like if you were taking a trip someplace, you could put like, and you went to 3 different cities or something, you could make a sheet, like put it on a plain piece of paper or even wood grain paper like this, and put like the letter for that title or something, or if you were doing an album about people or something. So anyhow, they give you the kind of, I guess, a visual representation of what each letter would look like. I just wanted to clarify here that you buy the kits with one letter. So when you buy the kit, you choose which one letter. Each kit does come with instructions for all of the letters. But when you buy the kit for, I believe it's $18.99, but the information will be in the link below, you get one letter and the supplies to make it. But you get a whole bunch of flowers. So it tells you what these die cuts are for. So, oh, and they're double-sided, which is nice. So these are all the pieces for flower 4, succulent 1. Those are all for succulent 1. Flower 5, flower 6, flower 7. So you get all those pieces, and they just pop out. They're just die-cut pieces. And they pop out like that. And they're colored on both sides, and the succulents even have shading on them. And then flower 5, flower 9, flower 10, and then these banners that you can use for the different like names. So there we go, like H for hello. You've got some instructions here that tell you how to build your flowers and how to, like, you need to use a quilling tool, but I have done similar things without using a quilling tool. A quilling tool does make it easier, but you can also just use your fingers. I usually use my fingers, and you can use styluses too to make some of those flowers look really turned up and stuff. So there are the instructions, and then there's the kind of like the demos to create your monograms. And then there are the die cut pieces. And there's more in this little kit. So we have, oh my goodness, this is a T for Tracy. And then we have more foiled die cut pieces. Oh, I totally have to do this now. I want to do it right now, but I can't. And then we have some letters. I haven't read this yet, so I didn't even know this. It's a chi. It's for me. It's for me to do my name. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, but you could order these for whatever project you want. You don't have to do your own name. You could do your baby's name. You could do B for baby, H for hello, or the name of a city you went to, or whatever you want. Yeah, so I'm going to make this T right there. But I just, in case I don't get it up this weekend, today's the 20th already, so I wanted to make sure that you guys could see what this kit includes and just how pretty it is. Look at that. So my plan was to just take this T out and have a look at it, but I ended up accidentally making this, which
just goes to show how much fun it was. I couldn't resist. So I'm going to just get started. So the whole way I was thinking, I'll just do a little bit, and then I'll just do a little bit more, and then maybe a little bit more. And then at one point I was like, okay, I'm just doing this. So I am actually going to follow not the instructions, but I'm going to follow the visual sample almost exactly. And so I'm going to go ahead and spell out my name with these really pretty rose gold letter stickers that come in the kit. And I was really impressed with how they are designed so that each letter has a little, like a little piece that extends up and connects to the next piece so that you can make it look like it is actually all one piece. I really liked that about it. I just used my thicker positioning tool to position them out, and then I ended up scooching them around anyways, which sometimes is the case when you use that tool, especially for words like this where they're not going to be really straight and even. They're made to look like a hand brush script type of letter, and so it's not really going to be perfect. And now I decided to try my hand at one of these succulents. And like I said, I'm going to follow the picture exactly. So I'm going to put exactly the same letters that they used, and I'm going to put them in exactly the same places. I thought that that was a good way for me to use this kit. Now here's something that I have done before, but I wasn't sure if it would work. I thought that if I just kind of like rubbed around on those little pieces of the succulent, that it would just kind of soften up the fibers in the paper and make them look really rounded. And so what I found was that that was actually going to be a lot more labor intensive than just using my fingers. And then I decided to try a bone folder, and it worked really well. So I think of all the ways to do it without using quilling supplies, I think using a bone folder and your fingers is a great way to do it. So what I did here with that little centerpiece is I basically just rounded it up with the bone folder just to soften it up so that when I went to roll this piece, basically you have to roll it until it kind of like rolls onto itself. And then I just used a little glue dot to hold it onto, like there's a little circular part that the rolled up part sticks to. It's just all one piece. Anyhow, what I did was I softened the paper fibers with my bone folder first, because if I tried to just roll up the paper with my fingers, I would have ended up with bent fibers instead of softened, softly rounded fibers. So according to the picture, I need 2 of these succulents. So now that I've done one, I just do the second one exactly the same, but now I know to just use the bone folder, and I'm just kind of pulling it through between my thumb and the bone folder, pulling the paper through. And then on this, I'm just softening it up. It doesn't really matter which direction it goes in or anything. I just want it to be soft. So I'll slow this part down so that you can see how this comes together. So basically I just rounded it up with the bone folder to soften the fibers. And now I'm going to put a little glue dot on this little circular piece that is it's just part of that cutout piece. So there's the glue dot. You can see it there reflecting on the lights. And now at the other end of it, so not the part with the glue dot, I'm just going to let that glue dot sit there, and just be careful that you don't accidentally fold the paper so that it sticks to the glue dot, because that'll complicate this process. See, I'm just taking my fingers and I'm basically just rolling it as tightly as I can. You can get this really tight if you have a quilling tool, but since I don't, be easy on yourself. Don't expect it to be perfect. These are, imperfectly handcrafted. They're supposed to have that look to them. And then once you get to a certain point, as you can see, you can just flip that little flap that I've just put a glue dot on. You just flip that onto it, and then you have this really cute little center. And without fussing too much, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if there's a couple of little sharp folds in there, because you won't even really see it once you get all the other leaves on. Now I'm going to grab another glue dot, and I find that glue dots are really great for using with these sorts of projects because they're instant grab. You don't have to wait for the wet glue to dry, but they're a little bit more strong than you would get from a regular tape runner. So glue dots are perfect for this. The only drawback to glue dots is that you do get them kind of like they add a bit of bulkiness to the flowers or succulents that you're making. So I try to just make it so that my glue dots are not all lining up exactly in the center. So I try to actually put my glue dots on these pieces, not in the center, kind of just a little bit off center, so that they're not going to all stack up and create a whole lot of, because the glue dots are actually a little thick, like they're maybe a millimeter or two thick. And so back up to speed, because this is a pretty repetitive process. And then I'm just kind of shifting it around to make it look more natural. So there are my two little succulents. I thought they turned out really, really good. And as you can see, I just keep referring back to the sorry, I forgot to zoom out there, but I do keep on referring back to the image because somebody designed that, so they know what they're doing, and it looks really nice as it is. You could modify this if you wanted. You could put a bunch more flowers because there are way more flowers in this kit than you really need. So I noticed that there were two pink flowers on the image that is the sample for tea. So, and they were big. So I just had a look at what the options were, and I chose what looked like the two biggest flowers in the kit, and I will make those. And I'm just using the same method with my bone folder, pulling the paper through my thumbs, and I'm using glue dots because they are that instant adhesive. It really does help make this process go by a little bit faster. For some of the centers, I end up using a little bit of liquid glue, just because I felt like it was getting too bulky with all of those glue dots, and also I was worried that you'd see the glue if I used a glue dot. But I ended up using glue dots for all the other ones because that didn't really help any. There was no advantage to switching to the liquid glue for the last few steps, but I tried it out. You could, if you were really patient, you could use that Tombow Mono Multi. It's a nice strong adhesive. If you were to use liquid glue, I would recommend that you use a strong adhesive. Where this is an off-the-page project that you, for example, I'm not using mine in an album. I am using it as just a decoration in my scrap room. I have it up. I can see it right now while I'm talking. It's over kind of around the corner. I can see part of it. So you saw me just use some wet glue there, and you also got to see some of the disadvantages of using wet glue, which is that it oozes out and it's, it dries clear, so you're not going to see that, but that is just something to keep in mind. I took another look at that image again, and I noticed that there are some of these gray polka dot flowers on there as well. I think there are two of them, or maybe there's just one. So I'm going to make one of these, and I'm just layering these so that the second layer covers all the holes from the first layer, and basically just putting them all at opposite angles to one another so that each one fills the holes from the one below it. Like what I'm talking about is the holes between the petals. And those glue dots really do work quite well. And then this one has like a double petal in the center, so I wanted it to kind of stand up, and it almost looks like a lily of some sort. So referring back to the photo, there is another one of these flowers, so I'm just going to make that one exactly the same way that I made the last one. Then skipping ahead a little bit, so I made one more of those gray flowers, and then I noticed that there is one single flower with these rose gold tips, so I will make that one next. And these flowers are a little bit different. They're made in exactly the same way, but the shapes of the petals are a little bit different. Or maybe it's just the rose gold tips that make them look a little bit more squared. Anyhow, this flower gives you a little bit of a different look to the same style of flower. And then, thanks to the magic of video editing, that one is finished. It only took a few minutes. I was so impressed with how quickly this came together. I was in the middle of another project, so that was my hesitation to start something, even though I did want to get it out in time for people to see this and still be able to purchase it if they wanted to. But it was just so fast, like it was so easy and fast to put this together that I just kept on going. Now, these are the leaves that just punch out, and you do have to be a little bit careful with them because they're quite delicate. I didn't tear mine or anything, but just be a little cautious of that. And now is the fun part. This is the part where you get to stick everything together. I'm positioning my word banner a little bit high on where the two colors meet. I basically want to cover up that seam, and I'm placing it a little bit higher than the halfway point. And I am just following exactly the photo that they have. So I put those leaves in exactly the same places that they put the leaves. I'm putting the succulent in here beside the pink flower. And I figure there's no point in reinventing the wheel. Somebody else already designed this so that it looks really nice. So there's no point in me trying to fuss with it and make it look good, especially where I don't typically use flowers and I'm not really good at floral designs. So that's one of the benefits of these kits, right? Is that you don't have to figure all this stuff out. It comes already figured out for you. And then if you wanted to add your own flair to it, one thing that I could have done to personalize this to my own style of scrapbooking is I could have outlined all of those little flower petals before I put them together, or I could have maybe outlined some of them. You could also take your ink tools and ink the edges to give it like a more rich color, or you could put some ink in the centers of those flowers. You could even mix and match some of the petals so that you had different colored flowers, sorry. But I just wanted to stick to what they had done because I thought it was so pretty and so beautiful and so different than anything else that I have in my room. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. So here I am personalizing it a little tiny bit with some outlining because I am kind of known for my outlining and I love to outline things. It gives a nice casual look to something, especially something like this that is quite a bit more formal than anything else I have in my room. So adding a double outline just gives it a little bit more of a doodly look. When I outlined on the metallic parts, I did use my Lumo Color marker by Stettler. And that is a slick surface writer. And then I just decided again to kind of punch it up a little bit. It did look really beautiful just the way it was, but I'm mindful of the fact that I have this stash of supplies that I don't use anymore because I don't really, there was a time when I used a lot of like Prima flowers and I was doing lots of florals on mini albums and stuff. And I have all these supplies and I never use them anymore because I don't use florals. So I thought, well, here are some florals. So I should dig into my supplies and kind of add a little bit to this. So these are Prima little, I don't even know what they were called. I don't know if you can still get them, but they're really dimensional half circles. And so they're really nice to use on a project like this that's not going to go into a scrapbook page because they're not going to add a whole lot of bulk to your pages. So in just a second here, I'll show you the close-up videos and there'll also be a photo at the end. I am so pleased with how this came out. I'm really not very good at doing floral combinations, like figuring out how to put together florals with some leaves and stuff like that. So I was so impressed with how easy this kit was to put together. So big thanks to Close to My Heart for thinking of me and sending me this kit. It was really unexpected, little surprise, and now I have something pretty to put in my scrap room, which is mostly utilitarian. So thank you so much to them. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. If you have anything to say about this project today, leave me a comment and check out the link in the information section below. It brings you straight to this product. If you'd like to buy it, you have to buy it fast because it goes away in January. Take care. Bye-bye.